Coming up in today's video, guys, we've got quite an interesting case, this one. Now, this is interesting because we had to use two different techniques to remove the wax removal here. Now, what we can see, you can see there's not a tremendous amount of wax in this ear canal. In fact, you can see the eardrum quite clearly there. We've got this really hard layer on the outside edge. So the patient was feeling quite a lot of discomfort with this particular ear canal. We actually have to use some suction and some irrigation to get this wax out. I'll explain that a bit more detail when we get to the second ear canal, but you can see it's an odd consistency of wax. What we have here is a very dry, thin layer of wax, which is coating the canal, which is quite an unusual texture. Normally we see this particular type of texture of wax if somebody's used some, usually something like Automize, or if maybe they've used some bicarb drops or some peroxide drops. So it almost sort of melts the wax that binds the wax together, melts the fats, sorry, that's really hard to say, that binds the wax together. And then what you end up with then is a very kind of smooth, thin layer. And then if you feel that your hearing's improved, everything's gone back to normal, you stop using the drops, then it solidifies like that. And I think that's what's happened here. But we can really see what's complicating things slightly is we've got these really fine hairs embedded in here. So the wax is softened, dried, hardened around those hairs. So everything is being held together with those hairs as well. So we've got the fine end in here, and that's because I need to work along the surface of this skin, just peeling ever so gently down the canal here. So we can see we're getting these little bits off. It's coming away, in fairness, touch wood, it's coming away quite nicely so far. And I'm just working my way very, very slowly down the canal. Always more difficult to do with these particular wax removals when you've got that very super thin layer like we've got here. And when it's brittle and crumbly like it is, you don't get that lovely peel as you would with, say, some dry skin where you start to lift and the whole thing peels down the canal. With this, you lift and it snaps, you lift and it snaps, and you're just taking these little tiny pieces away all the time. And what is also difficult is everything is bound together with the hairs all the way around the canal, which means that when I'm trying to pull one particular section, you've got lots of other pieces which are sort of bound to it and held onto the canal walls. And that's what you're seeing here. I'm just trying to chip away at the edges. So you can see we're lifting, but because of the texture of it, it just wants to naturally return back to its original sort of starting point, if you like. Let's see if we can lift this off. Those hairs are being really problematic here. They don't want to allow it to go. Guys, normally this should have been me and Taylor for this particular video. I'm just on my own for this one. There's another batch of videos with me and Taylor together. My mistake. I forgot that this video needed voicing over when me and Taylor were together this morning. So I've had to come back and do it by myself later on. I went to edit it and I thought, oh no, we didn't voice that one over, which is why I was doing this one. But I've got the Jobson horn in here now, just because I'm struggling with the suction to get the edge and lift it and pull it all out in one go. But the Jobson horn, you can see, is just pulling on this edge. Got to be really careful here because we're literally just in front of the drum. I don't want to put too much pressure down here, but this is solidified. There we go, onto that particular section. You can see how the whole thing just came forwards then, how it was all bound and sort of almost anchored together. There we go. A little bit more of a pull. It's almost there, almost out. And there we go, out that comes. Let's lift that up so you can see it. Nice thin layer of wax there. And there we go, there's the eardrum looking nice and healthy. We've got a bit more tidying up to do, but at least we can see now we're nice and clear all the way down. Now, stay tuned for the second ear canal, because the second ear canal, my goodness me, you saw all that wax and hair that's bound together. Imagine doing that but completely covering the eardrum as a thin layer that's absolutely solid, and that's what's coming up in the second ear canal, guys. So much more difficult to do the second side. There we go, all tidied up, little bits gone. There we are. My advice to this patient would definitely be use some olive oil now over the next couple of days, just to keep any other bits of nice and soft in there. Yeah, my heart sunk just a little bit when I saw this one, because I can see that's the eardrum, and I can see there's this mat of hair and wax just covering that drum up. So let's see if we can get this initial section, this front section, let's see if we can get that moving. Let's give it a bit of a lift. Almost. There we go, just trying to peel this section away. It's not like the other side, we've got this thin layer. Now we've got this block of hard wax and hair, which is all bound together in our middle section there. You can see I'm trying to find an edge to lift it up. You can see where the hairs have come from, because this patient's got quite dense hair on the outer portion of the ear canal, which they obviously trim. And when they're trimming it, it's going into the canal. The wax is picking up the hair, which is what it's designed to do. And it's holding onto it, but it's not able to migrate out then because it's hardening in place. Look at this, it's just a mat of, it almost looks like, it weaves baskets and stuff like that, and you get these kind of crisscross. It's that kind of thing we can see in here. My goodness me. Very, very thick sort of chunks of hair. Now, can we get the difficulty when you're suctioning hair like this is you're relying on the suction grip holding on to what you're trying to get up. But when you've got these kind of issues here, you can see then that we've got this hair is just the air is really hard to say. The air is passing through the hairs, so you're not getting that really good suction grip. But look how matted that is. Absolutely solid. And the same here. I was really hoping when we pulled this section, it was going to draw that last hardened up section off the drum. Unfortunately, though, it doesn't here. We can just get a grip. If we can get a grip on that edge, that one chunk of hair there is really just hampering the view. And it's because every time we put the tool in, it's kind of sliding against the side of the tool, so it's just dropping in front of the endoscope. There we go, that's out. And let's get the next section. There we go. And that's another one gone. Now, there we are. Now, this is the bit that I thought, my goodness me, this is absolutely, if it's anything like the rest of the wax in the ear canal here, it's going to be absolutely solid. So I'll just try an edge here, just see if I can lift and get a grip. You can see there's a tiny bit of movement, but it doesn't want to let go. And that's because the hairs are interwoven right the way across this whole section that's on the front of the eardrum here. There we are, just dropping onto it. I don't want to put too much pressure on. We don't want to see this eardrum, pushed in at any point. So we're going to try this thicker section at the top. I'm hoping if I can pull this section away, it'll draw the remainder off. But I can see here, as I'm pulling, there's a little tiny bit of flex to the eardrum beyond, and we don't really want to see that. We want this to come away cleanly off the drum. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. I'm really trying to find an angle without pressing down on this. So what we used here was a little bit of irrigation. Now, when I say a little bit, I mean literally 10 seconds worth of irrigation in here, and look at the difference that's made to this piece on the eardrum. Now, this is why I do like to use a bit of irrigation sometimes. For this particular type of wax, or for very, very soft and sticky types of wax, it makes a massive difference. You can really see how this is just loosened up. And when I say, I literally mean 10 seconds. We're literally in there and literally just done that gentle rinse. But look how much of a difference that makes to taking this off the drum. We've still got it staying as a structure. It's still quite a hard piece of wax in here, but it just loosens really easily. You could have been there for ages, or alternatively, you could have told the patient to use some oil, go away and come back, and you would have really struggled still probably to get that off. But you can see how well this has just come away. And look at this last bit. Now, bear in mind, this was welded onto the canal. Look how that's just literally jumping off the eardrum there. We've just got these couple of little pieces of very dry skin. I'm just trying to loosen them. They're not coming away easily. There we go. So there's a couple of little hairs left on there yet, but that will migrate. We'll just get some olive oil in there, just loosen that up. So 5 centimeters, just under 2 inches worth of wax and hardened wax and skin in there, guys. Oh my goodness, that was a long one. Well, guys, if you did enjoy the video, don't forget you can always like, heart, share, follow, and subscribe for me. And if you have ear problems yourself, make sure you check out the link tree in the description. You can book yourself an appointment to come along and see myself or the lovely Mr. Taylor Green, and we'll get that sorted out for you. But as always, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of your ears, and take care of one another. And I'll see you real soon. Bye, everybody.